Yeah.
So when someone is through that, once someone has come out of a, I call it, so someone experiencing trauma, right? So when they come out of that state of trauma, what that person is, let's say they're not in survival mode anymore, and what was the other victim, right? They're not being victimized.
Yeah,
They're
you're not being
in
victimized. You're
survival.
not really a victim anymore.
Right.
You're dealing with the issues.
Right. And when they get away from thinking of themselves as a victim or a survivor,
So you're a victim, then you're a survivor.
Then what happens? Then what happens?
Well, I think it all depends on the mindset.
What happened to you? Like what
happened to
shifted
me?
for you?
I never thought of myself as a victim. I
Right.
never thought of myself as a survivor either.
What did you think back then? What did you think?
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't even realize what was going on. Honestly, that's
Right.
something that just came to the surface
Right.
only
You're like, oh,
recently.
something happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But you know, there are people that do realize when it's happening, what it
Right.
is, and I just find that sometimes we tend to hold on to words. This is like a safety blanket and
A label. We hold on to a label,
yeah,
right?
and I don't like. Yes, we like with Shimmy Mob, we raise funds and we create the awareness, and you know, I do say we help victims of abuse.
Right.
Those are the people who are currently into an abusive situation, or just we try to help them get them into shelters, and
Right.
we also support the shelters that
Right.
help the victims
Right.
get out of being a victim.
Yes.
But then there is this, you know, common title or assigned word for
Right.
people who have been victims, where I'm a survivor, or you know, they're
Right.
survivors, and I think it's the wrong word to hang on to for a long
Right.
time, because to me it sounds like the same as if you went through an earthquake and you survived an earthquake,
Right.
and that was it. But
Do you
it
think it actually minimizes people's experience in a way by calling themselves a survivor?
No, I think it keeps them in a victim mentality.
keeps
It's
them
like
in a victim
I went
mentality,
through that, and I'm a survivor of domestic
Right.
violence, or I'm a survivor of sexual
Right.
assault, whatever. I think that it's important not to stay
Right.
with that lingo, even if you may feel that way. I think it's important to have a word that's more powerful
Right.
than that. Survivor is not, to me, in my opinion, the
Right.
way I interpret the word survivor, it gives me no power.
Right.
Right? It just feels like I just survived something,
Right,
and
it's
that's
kind of
the
a
end of that.
downtrodden
Right.
feeling. But it's interesting because society has pumped up, they have used this word survivor, and they have pumped it up like a balloon.
Yeah.
So people can walk around and say, I'm a survivor, right?
Exactly.
Without realizing psychologically that. So really what I'm hearing you say in a way is that you want people to get to a place of, yeah, they can acknowledge what they've been through, but you want them to feel more empowered, and survivor isn't an
Yeah.
empowering word.
I am just trying to come up with a name, or that would describe where we really need to be, regardless of what may have happened,
Right.
regardless of how ugly it was. Like if we're watching a movie where there's a hero,
Yes.
and the hero, that happens in every hero movie, where you see the hero gets, you know, there's always that climax part where you
yeah,
get the
yeah,
hero
yeah.
gets beaten, and he's almost in his, you know, he's almost
Right,
dying,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then all of a sudden he gets his strength and it comes out,
Right.
and he
Yeah.
wins in the end,
Yeah.
right?
From adversity to.
But
hero.
nowhere in a hero movie
Yeah.
do we think of the hero as a victim,
Yeah.
or do we think of the hero as a survivor?
Right.
We think of him as a hero because
Right.
he got through it.
Yes.
And I think that, I don't know if hero is the right word to use for
Right.
you know, people who have gone through certain situations in
Right.
life. But I feel like we're lacking a word that really should make people aspire to get
Yeah.
to, versus
Yeah.
I'm a survivor. A survivor gives me personally no power, and I
Right.
see that it doesn't give power to other people who have gone through abuse and use that term to describe
Yeah.
themselves. I don't like to say I'm a survivor of
Yeah.
abuse.
So there must be thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that can relate to what you're saying out
I hope
there.
so.
And
I hope
maybe
so.
they are going to, when they see this video, they're gonna provide you with ideas. Or-
I hope so.
or
Like we're rolling here.
feelings,
This
right?
is after the interview,
Yeah.
and we started talking, and
Yeah.
so we decided to just plug it in and talk
Yeah.
because this is totally off topic of what we were
Yeah.
doing before.
But what do you think the turning point was? Like if you go into, from a marketing perspective, right, this, which ties into this, is that people buy things based on emotion, or what I call buying motivators. So when you look at your life, right, and you look at what you've been through in your journey and how you got through it, right, and came out on the other side, what are the feelings, like when you realize what happened? I know you said it was different experience for you because you didn't really lock into that till kind of after, where you look back and you go, oh, crap, that's
Yeah.
what I experienced, right? And now
Yeah.
you can name it, acknowledge it. But when you started to feel empowered in your life, what was the feeling? Like, what was the turning point for you? What changed? If you can go back to when you had all that adversity and struggle and life was hard, and then there was like the switch, you know, there's that time, like grief happens, and then over time with grief becomes, one day people step out into the world and something, you know, they feel lighter,
It was
right?
more of a decision. It was more of a decision because even though I didn't realize it at the time, and it all came like a bulldozer on me,
Yeah.
and it was like this can of worms that kept opening. I'm like, okay, I'm done. No more layers, please. I don't need to know anymore.
Right. You're like, stop.
Right?
right?
I made a decision that I would not fall into thinking myself as a victim. I made the decision I would not think of myself as a survivor, but someone who's going to make a difference,
Right. Right.
regardless of what's happened to me. It's just
Right.
what I want to do, a difference in my own life,
Yeah.
and a difference in the life of the people that I come in touch with.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't. I
Yeah.
don't think of myself as a hero because I can't say. You know, for me, it's something that I realized later. It's
Right.
not. I didn't get myself. Well, I did. I did get out a couple situations, but
But at this age now, you can look back and you have different wisdom and insights, and your lens that you're seeing it through is different than probably even 10 years ago, right?
totally.
Like, so, you know, there's those layers there of perspective. But there was a change that happened for you. You made this decision, that's it. I can't have this perspective. It's not serving me anymore. So it's like a change or a shift, right?
It's so much happier.
You're a changeling, you know, or something like that. Like there's something new that's happened, right?
I just find it. It's just so much. You feel so much lighter
So much lighter.
and happier.
Right.
Really, you find joy rather than being miserable. You're happy
Right.
because you take.
Right.
You know, you acknowledge what's happened,
Right.
but you don't dwell on it. You take what good can come out of it and focus on that versus
Right.
the bad that it was,
Right.
right?
So the joy was the biggest part for you, and the lightness. What had that feel in your, like, was that a mind thing or a body thing or both?
both.
Right.
It's a weight that comes off, and it doesn't happen instantly, but the decision happens instantly.
Right.
And the moment you start telling yourself, no,
Yeah.
you're not a victim. You're
Yeah.
stronger than that. You're bigger than this. And that's something that I've always told myself whenever I realize something
Right.
that seemed overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like, doesn't matter how big it is.
Yeah.
I'm bigger than this. And that's what I tell people. You're
Right.
bigger than the problem. You're
Right.
way bigger than the problem. Don't make the problem to be bigger than you.
Right.
Because everything is solvable. If it's huge, you just have to attack it and find a strategy to attack it one bit at a time
Right.
from different angles until you
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how do people
So-
respond to that when you say you are bigger than the problem?
I think it makes them think.
Uh-huh.
I think it makes them think.
How, is there something
I
that you've
don't
heard
know.
them say
No,
to you?
no, no,
No?
no. I think it's food for thought.
Do they
I
sit
don't
up and they
expect-
smile though? Do they, like you have, what you're saying is, I have confidence in you. Like confidence, right?
Yeah.
Confidence.com.
My other company.
Right? But I have confidence in you.
Yeah.
And so, you know, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's a way for them to express their,
They have to believe it. There is no reaction
Right.
if they don't believe it. Or sometimes you get sometimes you get the, oh yeah, that's easy for you to say,
Right.
right? So it all
Right.
depends on where the person is at.
Yeah.
But I still like to put that seed in the mind
Yes.
where, like, you are bigger than the problem, and you never know when one day that
Yeah.
they'll hear
Yes.
that and they'll go, I'm bigger than the problem.
Right.
And they'll realize that.
Yeah.
So
Well, then there's a campaign, you know, in the anti-bullying around homophobia, right?
Mhm.
And there's this whole campaign saying it gets better. And I think they even have a website for that. And it's like, that is a movement. Really what you're creating is a movement, right?
oh yeah, we
In
create,
more
that's our
than-
tagline.
yeah,
Let
right.
the movement begin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is
so,
the- yeah.
so maybe the people are, instead of heroes, maybe they're movers, or movers and shakers.
Movers and shakers. Some of them are. Some
Because
of them
that's
are.
what you're, you know, that's what you're, you know, that's kind of the vibe that you're creating, right?
Mhm.
Or something along those lines. But I think asking people
Mhm.
what they think
Should be
would
the term.
be a great
Term
term,
for it, yeah.
and you will get feedback from people, and they
Yeah.
will tell you, and you can even, you know, I did in the past when I was trying to do my book, which I
Yeah.
was struggling with my title,
Yeah.
and I had a contest and asked for help because it was like I could get lift strategies, but I was struggling with the little part, quick tips to engage customers and elevate profits. I just couldn't. I was too close to it, right? And I
Cool.
think that's the challenge, is that
Yeah.
you're so close to this,
Yeah.
personally and professionally.
Yeah.
It's just hard to crack out of it. But
Yeah.
really, what you're talking about here is celebrating people's breakthroughs,
Mhm.
their true selves, their essence, and you know, there's one organization I just belong to. They call themselves activators, right?
Mm.
But really, it sounds like you're looking to people to have breakthroughs, and to
Yeah.
break through to the next stage of their life,
To live
right?
fully. To
Yeah.
live to really the full
Embrace
potential, you know?
and to step into the world, right?
Mhm.
And so there's got to be something juicy
Yeah, we'll
there,
find
right?
something. We'll
Tell
find
us
something.
what you think.
Help me!
Let Francesca know she needs your help.
Help me!
She's got this mission, and she's helped so many people. And now we're looking for that key word
The
from
key
you,
word.
right?
I will be putting this
Yeah.
on our social media, and
Yeah, and see
hopefully
what
we can get
happens.
some response.
You will.
Yeah.
You will, because
Thank you
people
so
know
much.
it.
Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
thank you, Francesca. All right.
Yes.
Here's to another day of empowerment and
Yes,
breakthrough, right?
absolutely.
Okay.
Bye
Bye.
again.